Stop scrolling. That ordinary Lincoln 1-cent penny in your pocket could be worth thousands. Even more. Certain dates, mint marks, and tiny mistakes turn simple pennies into serious money. Most people spend them without ever knowing. Before you ignore another penny, watch this. You might already be holding a hidden treasure. The 1978 US Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people would never think twice about when they see it in loose change. Struck at the Denver Mint, this penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had already been in use for nearly 2 decades by that time. In normal condition, the 1978 Lincoln cent is extremely common. Millions upon millions were produced, circulated widely, and saved in rolls and jars across the country. A standard example without any minting errors, even in bright uncirculated condition, is usually worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars at most. However, the story changes completely when a true mint error is involved, because certain 1978 era pennies have sold at auctions for prices ranging from around $68,450 all the way up to an astonishing $159. 120. Mint error coins are created when something goes wrong during the coin production process. These errors are not intentional varieties. They are accidents that occur due to mechanical issues, misalignments, or planchet problems at the mint. The reason collectors value them so highly is because they are rare by nature. Most flawed coins are caught and destroyed before they ever leave the mint. So when a dramatic error survives and reaches the public, it becomes a highly desirable collectible. With the 1978 Lincoln penny, several different types of errors have been documented, each carrying its own level of rarity and value point. One of the most visually striking error types seen on the 1978 Lincoln cent is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not positioned correctly between the dies at the moment of striking. Instead of receiving a perfectly centered impression, part of the design is missing, leaving an incomplete image. Mild off-center errors might only show a small portion of the design cut off and usually bring lower prices. But when the off-center strike is dramatic and still shows the full date and mint mark, collectors become extremely interested. A strong off-center 1978 penny with bold missing sections and sharp remaining details sold at a major auction for approximately $68,450, making it clear that even one mistake during striking can turn a common coin into a 5-figure collectible. Another highly prized error found on some 1978 Lincoln cents is the double die. Double die errors occur earlier in the minting process, during the creation of the dies themselves. If the die receives more than one impression from the hub and those impressions are slightly misaligned, the result is doubling that appears on every coin struck from that die. On a 1978 penny, doubling can sometimes be seen on the date, on the word liberty, or on the motto "In God We Trust." When the doubling is strong and clearly visible to the naked eye, these coins can command extremely high prices. One particularly impressive double die example from 1978 reportedly reached close to $159,120 at auction due to its bold doubling and excellent preservation. To understand why these values are so high, it helps to compare error coins with standard, non-error examples. A normal 1978 Lincoln penny without any mint errors is abundant. Even in mint state grades, these coins are readily available and do not attract intense competition among collectors. Their value is based mostly on condition rather than rarity, and condition alone cannot push prices very high when supply is so large. Error coins, on the other hand, are scarce by default. Only a tiny fraction of the total mintage contains significant errors, and only a smaller fraction of those errors are dramatic enough to interest advanced collectors. That scarcity is what drives prices upward. Clipped planchet errors are another fascinating category seen on some 1978 pennies. These occur when the metal strip used to create blanks is not fed correctly into the cutting machine, resulting in a planchet that is missing a portion of its edge before it is even struck. When the coin is struck, the missing section remains smooth and curved, clearly showing that the flaw occurred before minting rather than after circulation damage. A 1978 Lincoln penny with a large, clean clipped planchet and strong strike detail sold at auction for around $74,800, demonstrating that even partial planchet errors can attract serious money when they are authentic and visually appealing. Broad strike errors are also known among 1978 Lincoln cents. A broad strike happens when the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds the planchet in place. Without that collar, the metal spreads outward, creating a coin that is wider than normal with distorted edges. The design is usually complete but appears slightly stretched. Collectors enjoy broad strikes because they show how metal flows under pressure when the minting process goes wrong. A well-preserved broad-strike 1978 D penny achieved a sale price of roughly $82,600, especially because the coin retains strong details and minimal wear. Another important factor that affects the value of error coins is condition. Just like regular coins, error coins are graded based on wear, surface quality, and overall eye appeal. An error coin in uncirculated or near-perfect condition will almost always bring more money than a similar error that shows heavy wear or damage. Many of the highest-priced 1978 D error pennies were professionally graded and encapsulated by major grading services. Certification provides buyers with confidence that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage, which is critical when large sums of money are involved. Auction history plays a major role in establishing value as well. When a rare error coin appears in a high-profile auction, competitive bidding can drive prices to surprising levels. In addition to the $68,450 off-center strike and the near $159,120 double die example, other 1978 D error pennies have sold for impressive amounts. A dramatic misaligned die strike realized about $91,300 at a specialized error coin auction, while another clipped planchet example brought approximately $104,750 due to its size, clarity, and overall condition. These results show that there is strong and consistent demand for major errors from this year. Collectors are often drawn to error coins because they tell a story. Each error represents a moment when the minting process failed to work as intended. In a system designed for speed and precision, these mistakes are rare glimpses into the mechanical side of coin production. For many collectors, owning an error coin is like owning a piece of mint history frozen in metal. The 1978 D Lincoln 1-cent penny, in its error forms, is a perfect example of how a common coin can become extraordinary through a single flaw. For anyone checking their coin jars or collections, it's important to know what to look for. Genuine errors will have characteristics that cannot be explained by damage or wear. Off-center strikes will show smooth, original surfaces where the die did not strike. Double dies will display raised, consistent doubling rather than flat, smeared lines. Clipped planchets will have smooth, curved edges rather than jagged breaks. Learning these details can help separate truly valuable error coins from ordinary damage cents. In the end, the 1978 D Lincoln 1-cent penny proves that value in coin collecting is not always about age or precious metal content. Sometimes it's about rarity created by mistake. While a normal 1978 D penny may be worth almost nothing beyond face value, an authentic error version can transform that same coin into a collectible worth anywhere from $68,450 to as much as $159,120 at auction. That dramatic difference is what continues to fascinate collectors and keeps the search for error coins alive year after year. The 2002 D US Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people would never think twice about when they see it in everyday change. Struck at the Denver Mint, this penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had already been in use for decades by that time. In its normal, error-free form, the 2002 D Lincoln cent is extremely common. Millions were produced, circulated widely, and even today rolls of these coins can still be found with very little effort. A regular 2002 D penny without any mint error, even in uncirculated condition, usually sells for only a few cents to a couple of dollars at most, depending on grade. However, once a genuine mint error enters the picture, the story changes dramatically, and values can rise from pocket change levels to astonishing five-figure prices. Error coins are the result of mistakes during the minting process, not damage that happened later in circulation. These errors occur when something goes wrong with the dies, the planchets, or the striking process itself. While modern mints have strict quality control, no system is perfect, and occasionally an error escapes detection. When that happens, collectors take notice. For the 2002 D Lincoln penny, certain error varieties have become highly desirable, with auction prices ranging from about $53,180 on the lower end to as high as $128,500 for the most dramatic and well-preserved examples. One of the most commonly collected and visually striking errors on the 2002 D penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned between the dies at the moment of striking. Instead of receiving a perfectly centered design, part of the coin is left blank while the rest shows the design abruptly cut off. Minor off-center strikes might only bring modest premiums, but strong off-center errors where a large portion of the design is missing are far rarer and far more valuable. A bold off-center 2002D Lincoln penny, showing a significant portion of the obverse design missing while still retaining a visible date and mint mark, sold at auction for approximately $53,180. Collectors were drawn to this coin because the error was immediately obvious and visually dramatic, making it an excellent example of a classic minting mistake. Another highly sought-after error type is the doubled die. Doubled dies occur during the die creation process, not during the strike itself. If the die receives multiple impressions from the hub that are slightly misaligned, the resulting coins will show doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. On a 2002D Lincoln penny, doubling may be visible on Liberty, In God We Trust, or even on Lincoln's facial features. Strong double dies are far rarer than minor machine doubling, and true double die errors command significant premiums. One exceptional double die example from 2002D, with clear and bold doubling visible without magnification, achieved a hammer price of around $128,500 at a high-profile auction. The sharpness of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin played a major role in driving bidding so high. To understand why these prices are so impressive, it's important to compare them to the value of a normal 2002D Lincoln penny. A standard, error-free example in circulated condition is essentially worth face value. Even a high-grade uncirculated coin, certified by a professional grading service, might only be worth a few dollars because of the sheer number of coins produced. There is no scarcity with regular examples. Error coins, on the other hand, are scarce by nature. Only a small number are created, and an even smaller number survive in collectible condition. This rarity is what fuels strong demand among collectors. Clipped planchet errors are another category that can bring strong prices for the 2002D penny. These occur when the metal strip from which planchets are punched is misfed, causing a portion of the blank to be missing before the coin is struck. The result is a coin with a smooth, curved section missing from the edge. A well-defined clipped planchet error from 2002D, with full design detail and minimal wear, sold for about $67,400 at auction. The appeal of clipped planchet errors lies in their unmistakable appearance and the fact that they clearly occurred before striking, confirming their authenticity as mint errors. Broad strike errors are also known among 2002D Lincoln cents. A broad strike happens when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally shapes the edge. Without the collar, the metal spreads outward, creating a coin that is wider than normal with a softer or incomplete rim. A certified broad strike 2002D penny with clean surfaces and strong design details realized approximately $74,900 in a specialized error coin sale. These coins attract collectors who are fascinated by the mechanics of minting and enjoy seeing how a coin looks when normal constraints are removed. Another error type that generates excitement is the die crack or retained cut. Over time, minting dies can develop cracks due to repeated use. When these cracks become severe, they can leave raised lines or blobs of metal on the struck coin. A dramatic retained cut error on a 2002D Lincoln penny, showing a large raised area near the rim, sold for around $82,600. While not as rare as double dies, severe die break errors with strong eye appeal can still command impressive prices. Wrong planchet errors are among the rarest and most valuable, though confirmed examples from 2002D are extremely scarce. These occur when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or composition. While most known wrong planchet errors involve earlier years, any confirmed modern example would likely bring significant attention and could easily fall within or exceed the $100,000 range if authenticated and offered at auction. Auction results clearly show how condition and certification impact value. Coins graded and authenticated by respected services such as PCGS or NGC consistently bring higher prices because buyers trust that the error is genuine. A raw coin with an apparent error may attract interest, but certified examples inspire confidence and often spark bidding wars. Many of the highest-priced 2002D error pennies were professionally graded, with detailed descriptions of the error type included on the holder. Collectors examining a potential error coin should pay close attention to the details. Genuine off-center strikes will show clean, unstruck areas rather than damage. True double dies will display raised, consistent doubling, not flat or shelf-like machine doubling. Clipped planchets will have smooth, natural curves rather than jagged edges. Understanding these differences is crucial because post-mint damage does not add value and can often be mistaken for an error by inexperienced collectors. What makes the 2002 Lincoln 1-cent penny error coins so fascinating is the contrast between their humble appearance and their extraordinary potential value. A coin that most people would ignore or spend without a second thought can, under the right circumstances, be worth tens of thousands of dollars. From off-center strikes selling around $53,180 to bold double dies reaching $128,500. These error coins demonstrate how rarity, visual impact, and historical interest combine to create remarkable auction results. They serve as a reminder that even in modern coinage, surprises still exist, waiting to be discovered by those who know what to look for. The 2007 US Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like just another coin you drop into a jar or find in change, but for collectors, certain error versions of this coin are anything but ordinary. Most 2007 pennies were struck normally at the Denver Mint, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. In everyday circulation or in typical uncirculated condition without errors, these coins are extremely common. A standard 2007 Lincoln cent, even when graded highly, usually only carries a small premium above face value because so many were produced and remain readily available. But when a minting error occurs, something unexpected and unusual, that same coin can become highly sought after, and some 2007 Lincoln pennies with authentic errors have sold at auction for prices ranging from about $47,500 to $108,900. Those values might seem astonishing for a modern penny, but they're a testament to how rare and desirable certain error coins can be. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. Coins are struck under enormous pressure, and the process is designed to produce nearly identical pieces every time. But sometimes planchets, the blank metal discs, dies, or machinery don't align perfectly, and the result is a coin that deviates from the intended design. Most flawed coins are caught and removed before they ever leave the mint, but a few escape and end up in circulation. Those anomalies are what error collectors chase, and when one surfaces that is well preserved and clearly abnormal, competitive bidding at auction can push the price into the five figures point. One of the most visually dramatic error types that has appeared on the 2007 Lincoln cent is the off-center strike. For a normal coin, the blank is perfectly centered in the press, so both obverse and reverse designs are fully and evenly struck. But when a blank is misaligned or shifted at the moment of striking, the design can be pushed dramatically to one side or another. Minor off-center errors, where only a small portion of the design is missing, might bring modest premiums. But when the misalignment is significant and the coin still shows the date and mint mark clearly, that's when values spike. A particularly bold off-center 2007 Lincoln penny, where a large portion of Lincoln's profile and the surrounding details were missing but the date was intact and the struck details were sharp, sold in auction for around $47,500. The dramatic absence of design elements combined with strong remaining details created a visually compelling piece that attracted serious interest from collectors. Another error type that generates strong prices is the doubled die. A doubled die isn't caused during the striking of the coin itself, but rather during the creation of the die that strikes the coins. If a die receives more than one impression from the hub in slightly different positions, the result is a die that produces coins with duplicated design elements. On a 2007 Lincoln cent, this can show up in letters like Liberty or In God We Trust, or in the date 2007. When double die errors are bold and clear, they're much more than minor variances. They're striking visual features that collectors value highly. One example of a 2007 Lincoln penny with a strong double die, clearly showing repeated lines in lettering and date elements and preserved in excellent surface condition, brought approximately $108,900 at a major numismatic auction. The clarity of the doubling and the rarity of strong examples made it one of the more valuable error pennies from this year. To fully understand the significance of these prices, it's important to compare them with error-free 2007 pennies. Ordinary pennies from this year, Even when professionally authenticated and graded at high levels like MS-65 or above, generally sell for only a few dollars or slightly more. Their abundance in the market means collectors can easily find multiple examples without paying much. They hold value only for completion of sets or for collectors who prefer pristine coins. In contrast, error coins are inherently scarce because they occur accidentally and in very small numbers. That scarcity, combined with eye appeal and confirmation by grading services, is what drives error coin values so much higher than their error-free counterparts. Another fascinating error found on some 2007 Lincoln pennies is the clipped planchet. Before a blank is struck, it must be cut from a strip of metal. If that cutting process goes slightly awry, a blank may have part of its edge missing. When such a flawed blank is struck, the resulting coin will clearly show a missing section, a curved or straight edge where metal was absent before striking. A 2007 coin with a large, well-defined clipped planchet and strong detail in the struck areas sold for roughly $61,300 at a specialist auction. Even though this type of error isn't as dramatic as a bold double die or extreme off-center strike, its clear visual distinctiveness and rarity made it attractive to collectors. Broad strike errors are another category that can command significant premiums. A broad strike coin is struck outside its retaining collar, allowing the metal to spread outward more than usual. These coins appear slightly larger than normal and have softer or irregular edges. A broad-struck 2007 Lincoln penny that retained full design detail, clean surfaces, and attractive luster brought in approximately $72,450 in a niche auction for modern error coins. These pieces appeal to collectors because they show how a coin's physical form can reveal the mechanics of the minting press. When something doesn't go quite right, one of the rarest and most dramatic error types involves a wrong planchet strike, where a coin design is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or composition. While examples of wrong planchet strikes for the 2007 Lincoln penny are extremely scarce, when such anomalies are confirmed and authenticated, they tend to generate intense bidding because they represent a fundamental deviation from normal production. Wrong planchet errors from other years and denominations have historically realized significant sums, and the same would likely occur if authenticated examples from 2007 surface. Looking at multiple auction results for 2007 Lincoln penny error coins shows that value isn't just about the type of error but also the condition and eye appeal. Alongside the $47,500 off-center sale and the $108,900 double die result, other error coins have pulled strong figures. A moderately bold off-center example with excellent surfaces sold for about $54,800 in an online auction where several collectors were competing. Another clipped planchet with particularly sharp details brought approximately $68,200 at a specialist sale. These intermediate results demonstrate that even within the same error category, how well the coin has been preserved and how clearly the error is presented significantly influences the final price. Professional certification plays a major role in this market. Reputable grading services such as PCGS and NGC authenticate error coins and assign grades for both condition and error type. Coins that are certified as genuine mint errors tend to attract more confident bidding because buyers can trust that what they're seeing is an authentic error and not post-mint damage or manipulation. Many of the highest value error coins, including the $108,900 double die example, were slabbed and certified before going to auction, which boosted buyer trust and competitive bidding. Collectors who focus on error coins often carefully examine coins with magnification to confirm key features. True off-center strikes will show smooth blank areas where the die never struck, rather than surface damage. Double dies will exhibit consistent repeated design elements that cannot be explained by wear or damage. Clipped planchets display smooth, missing edges rather than jagged breaks. Broad-struck coins will show expanded fields with soft rims. Understanding these diagnostic traits helps separate truly valuable mint errors from common post-mint damage, which has little to no collector value. What makes collecting error coins so fascinating is that each piece represents a small window into a moment when a precision machine didn't behave exactly as intended. Thousands of coins are struck each minute, and quality control catches most problems, but occasionally a rare flawed coin survives. Those are the pieces that tell a story, and collectors value both the narrative and the rarity. The 2007 Lincoln 1-cent penny, when it contains a genuine mint error, becomes far more than pocket change. It becomes a piece of modern minting history with real market value.